Welcome to another episode 15, right, Kristin?
15.
Yarn and Shenanigans. I'm Amy. This is Kristin, and we have a special visitor today. Mafia Princess has come to show us her fabulous sweater. So, yay. Welcome to our podcast again.
Yay.
Roscoe was not having company, so he's gone to hang out with Tom. So.
Well, Mafia Princess has had a name change.
Oh, that's right.
I can't remember if I talked about this before, but, you know, when the Queen died, everyone got a new royal title. The royal titles all changed.
She loves goldfish.
She does. So she used to be Mafia Princess of South Florida because she was the ultimate sun worshiper. When it was 98 degrees out, she's not in the shade, she's in the sun. Sunbathing.
I gave her half because, you know.
But when the Queen died, she got an upgrade. So now she is Mafia Princess Royale.
Crumbs don't count. Mafia Princess Royale.
Yep. That's her new upgrade.
Aww.
And she lives up to every mean girl part of that title. I just telling you now.
She's got a sassy face too.
She is. She's a little sassy girl. So we'll talk about what she's wearing a little bit, but that's our guest for today. Like Amy said, I'm Kristin, and we're glad to be here.
Yes.
We are friends who love to knit and get into a lot of shenanigans.
We do love shenanigans. It's been Christmas. Both of us have had birthdays.
Yes.
So we're basically done with all the celebration for the whole year.
We're done.
It's the downside to having a birthday near Christmas.
Yes.
It's one and done. But yeah, so I got a lot of yarn presents, and
you want to start with your yarn presents?
Oh yeah, well,
let's do things different today.
Oh, we're tossing it up. So Kristin got me for my birthday 52 weeks of shawls. I'm very excited. I've already bookmarked like 7 patterns. So
she calls me up. She says, "Thank you so much for my present," because I'd mailed it to her, and I said, "You do know I'm going to have to borrow it."
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Because I looked through it all before I handed it over, and was like, "Oh, there's a few of those in there I like."
Yeah.
So
yes, I'm very excited about it. Yeah.
And I like how they're doing the book differently. When it first came out, it used to have a paper overlay with this, and this part would come off because it was a paper overlay. They've now printed it directly onto the book, so it's just much nicer. I like how that.
You know, you're right, because I have the 52 weeks
and it was a paper overlay.
Socks, and it's
right.
the overlay. So, yes, I'm very excited about this. So, hopefully a few projects will get knit this year out of here. And then I got a set of Addi-Click needles for Christmas from my best friend that I have been using. I actually used it to knit one of my finished objects. I guess that's semi-finished object. Today, that was exciting. I like them. They're definitely different than my Chiagu ones.
Well,
Chiagu? There's much discussion on how to say that. So
I have no idea the correct pronunciation.
You can put your comments down below on how you think that should go. If someone is listening to this from Chiagu, please put it down there. How we should say that, because we're fans.
What is your review comparing the two?
Okay. So for socks, I would definitely not use my Addi-Clicks. Like, I only use the Sock Rocket Addi needles that are just like one long interchangeable. They are definitely easier to change than my Chiagu ones because you don't have to twist. Like, they have a spring in them, so you click them.
Sure.
I really like that, and because the spring is so new, it's so hard to click.
Right.
So they give you little like silicone holders to use it with. And that's amazing. I'm like, it's like a little pot holder for my knitting needles. It's great. So I do like that. I don't like that the joint isn't smooth. So the downside to that is that your yarn, you have to like push it a little harder. Like, I push my yarn over, it doesn't just slide. The upside to that is your yarn doesn't fall off your needles when you put it down and walk away, because it's got that little joint. So yeah, I think it's great for some things, but some things like socks I wouldn't use those for. But yeah, so I like them. they don't go down, like my Chico ones go down to a 2 in the set, and these start at a 4.
Okay.
So that's also something to think about. But yeah, I like it.
Good.
Yeah. Good. And all the cables are the same size. Like in the Chico ones, you have the large cable
and the small.
And the small. These are all the same size.
Oh, that's nice.
So all your cables work with all
the
things. So that's positive that I like, because I got like 20. Well, Kristin has like 600 cables. I'm really jealous about that. Fine, still all these years later.
I have a few.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
But I mean, and that's good to know, because I don't have any added clicks.
Yeah.
You know, so I have very narrow experience.
Yeah, and my ends aren't pointed. They're like they're not sharp.
Right. They're all lace tip.
So that definitely makes a difference in my knitting. I have the bad knitter habit of stabbing myself with my needle to scoop yarn. I don't know if anybody understands what that is, but like after I'm done and I'm like knitting, I take my needle and go, to push some yarn there. This is a bad knitter habit, and it'll give you calluses, so that when your nurses try to take your oxygen level through your fingertips, it doesn't go well and they think you're dying. So I have to tell them I have calluses on these 2 fingers, my 2 little index fingers. You can rub it together and kind of hear my callus. So I tell them they have to use a different finger. Like they usually use that because I have the callus and it interferes sometimes with that. So, and as someone who's had that done a lot, they're like, are you feeling okay? Yeah, no, just try another finger. It's okay. So that is great for that, because I'm not bleeding.
Yeah.
That often happens.
Right.
So I knit a little blood into my knitting sometimes. So I like that. But it's not going to work for every project.
Right. And I think that's true for most needles, is that we like some needles for some projects and some for others.
Yeah.
You know, and especially when you start talking fiber content and size of needle.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a preference. I don't like bamboo needles for everything, but sometimes you need your yarn to like stick.
Feel sticky.
Yeah, and that's when I'm going to use my like Knitter's Pride needles, which I've broken so many of them. I'm sorry, Knitter's Pride. They break. They hate me.
You're rough on your needles.
I am. I have that one bent 7. It's like, what happened? There was crocheting involved or something. It was a stressful day. So
you got Eddie clicks, and you got that, and you also have. She has new yarn.
I do.
It is 2023.
You guys,
and she has new yarn.
I was excited about the stroke of midnight on New Year's. I was going to knit and yarn, or I was going to yarn shop to my little heart's content. Especially because I got a really nice bonus at work. But you know what I did? At 12 o'clock, I fell asleep because really I'm an old lady in my spirit. And I was a little sick because I ate and drank too much. And I got home and I was like, no, I'm not going to internet shop. And I did not. And I have not bought any yarn off of my yarn diet, except for my monthly subscription. This is my Freckled Whimsy Club.
Hold it up nice and close. Closer. Closer.
Oh.
Closer. There you go.
So Kristin says that this yarn is her new yarn colors, and she's decided to get a new tattoo in these colors before I showed this yarn.
Yes.
But I also believe that this is the perfect yarn for a Tennessee girl who loves pink.
Yes.
Go Vols. So I was really excited about this. In fact, I was
gorgeous.
Gonna knit during the Clemson, Tennessee Orange Bowl game, but I didn't have this yarn. That happened on the 30th.
So what's the name of the yarn?
This is called Love You Mean It. So appropriate for me. So I just love it. So
it's gorgeous.
I've decided to keep her yarn club going. Because one, I only have 300 skeins of self-striping sock yarn. But also, I just love it. These are not colors that I would put together, at all. But I love this yarn. And so it's going to be a keeper. I have not knitted a pair of socks yet. That was also my goal to get back on that. But I did finish some things, so I'm pretty proud of myself.
We have FOs today.
All of them, you guys. Some of those things that Kristin had to keep me on my thing for. So maybe I'll knit some socks. I don't know. I literally yesterday finished one of my projects. And so I haven't decided what I'm going to knit yet. I have my Zimstern still on the needles. I feel like I'm dying to get to 293 stitches on my needles to change colors.
And sometimes you just have to put things in time out.
I am. Hopefully during football tonight, I'm going to knit on it, and I'm going to get to those 209. I feel like, you guys, on my sweater, I was like, okay, I'm going to do 4 more repeats. And I could count down to those 4 more repeats. But this 293 stitches is just killing me. And it's just knitting. You're doing the same thing. Yep. All of those. It's like a snooze fest. And that's why I cannot knit garter sweaters. I can't do it.
So we've started a new craft night at my Quaker meeting house. And I was talking with someone there who's a knitter. And she was working on the shawl, but she's put it down. And it's a beautiful shawl, but it's all garter stitch. And I said, she's like, oh, it's just, it never ends. And I said, this is the thing with knitters. We look at these all stockinette, all garter knit type patterns at the beginning, and we say, those look really easy. I could do that. That'll go fast. It's a no-brainer. I'll have fun. This will be great. And then we get partway through it and we're brain dead because it doesn't engage our brain.
No.
And this is one of the reasons I like lace, is because it engages my brain. I'm constantly having to think about what I'm doing. And I find it fun, but we get caught in this trap of that looks easy. That looks, I can do this sitting watching football. I can sit and doing this. And then we get bored with it. And I think when we have more stuff that engages us in our knitting, it keeps us more engaged with the project.
And motivated.
Yeah, exactly.
I like all those patterns that are like sections of things.
Right.
Like a lot of the things that I like to knit are like, you do whatever. And I feel like I use that for motivation. Like, okay, when I get to this section, something new is going to happen. Exactly. And I'm excited about that new. Like, okay, but this I just like, I can't. And it's, you're saying about the simple things that are so pretty. I love the church house yarn and tea.
Right.
All of their patterns are so simple and classic and beautiful. Right. And they have a beautiful poncho that I had been dying to knit, but it is stockinette stitch for like 7 feet. And I just, my brain cannot make that happen, guys. Yeah.
No, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I think you have to be realistic about what you want to stay engaged with and what don't. And that's, years ago, I used to only have 2 knitting projects on the go. One was I could do at home that I didn't need interruption for, and one I could do when I'm out and about. And that was the boring one you didn't have to think about.
Yeah.
But I always had one that I kept that was interesting and kept my brain engaged. And I think, that's part of the stuff that I'm looking at for this coming year is learning the new stuff and keeping the brain engaged. And I can look at the pretty garter stitch ones and say, oh, that looks lovely, but I know I will try to shoot myself halfway through. Yeah. So I'm not going to start that one. I can, admire it from afar and look when someone else wears it and say, that's really gorgeous and pretty and beautiful colors and great work. And I just know it's not for me. And I think the more you knit, the more you figure out what makes you happy when you knit and what doesn't.
Yeah, it's why I like all those Stephen West weird patterns. Like, they're weird. And maybe the color combinations aren't for me, but you know what they are? They are fun to knit.
Yeah.
There's not been one
and
that
I think that's one of the reasons he is so popular.
Yeah.
Is because they're fun.
They're fun. Like, will I wear, listen, y'all, I knitted a shawl of his that kind of looked like a lady part. And I was just like, that's a little weird. But you know what? It was fun to knit. Yeah. And my grandma loved that shawl. So.
All right. So we've gone through all the acquisitions, which we normally do at the end.
Oh, God. And Kristin doesn't have any because she's being so good on her yarn diet. I sent
a few whole weeks.
I sent her a gift card for Christmas and told her to use it before.
I didn't.
Oh, it doesn't count though because it's a present. So.
Right, it's a present, and I have plans for it, but I have to get to the project that I want to spend it on. Mm-hmm. So I do have some plans for it.
That's good. So yeah, Kristin's doing good on her yard diet, and I haven't fallen off the wagon yet. So in all fairness,
we're trying to encourage
I've been busy. We just plan to go to 2 yarn festivals, so and a yarn store.
So let's look at what we are wearing or not wearing.
Oh, let's talk about yours first.
So this is Nightshift by Andrea Mary. She came out with this years ago. This is the shawl. It was meant to be made in a DK, and I actually picked Zuber balls, which is a fingering, and I had like 6 different colors, and I made it much larger than what the pattern called for because I was using fingering. So it's not that big of a shawl, but I like the color changes, and I was glad when I got over it. Like I was telling Amy, I said, you can like any project, but usually by the time you get to the bottom end of it, no matter how much fun it is, you're ready for it to be done. And this is one of those that was fun to knit, and then I couldn't wait for it to be over. But I get lots of compliments on it, and I really enjoy it. And I tried to pick as the most bright color changes that I could to make it as colorful as possible. I think it turned out really well.
So is that yarn self-striping?
Yes. It's Zuber balls, so they change. I don't know if I would call it striping.
Okay.
But yeah, every ball has multiple colors in it.
How many different balls did you use?
I think I had 6.
Okay.
And so and then I just kept going on the pattern. I didn't stop when the pattern stopped. I just kept going till the yarn was done.
It's just so pretty. I just love it.
I think it turned out really nicely.
Mm-hmm.
So my aim was bright and colorful, and I think I achieved that.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I am wearing I cannot say this word, you guys. I will say Drachenfels.
It's Drachenfels.
There we go. By Melanie Berg. I just love all her patterns. So these are also not Amy colors. Someone else picked out these colors for me, and I just love them.
They're gorgeous. They're my colors.
Yeah, they are your colors, but it matches great with like this green sweater that I love wearing. So it goes with everything. And my goal this year was to wear more of my knitted things. So
there we go.
Yeah.
I think it looks great.
Thanks. So it's really pretty. I've had this for like forever. I think I got this yarn at Eat Sleep Knit. Like, I went to the actual store in Georgia to go, which we could do if you wanted to.
We could make a trip. We could make
I love that store. It's like one of my favorite places. It's huge.
I know. I've seen pictures. Haven't been there.
It's delightful. Everyone is so happy, and I just want to be there. So I'm pretty happy with this. I feel like this is like 3 sisters or Irish girls. Irish girls. Just in colors that aren't available anymore. But yeah, I love the brightness of this.
Yeah, it is gorgeous.
So yeah, and that's what I'm wearing. Kristin, you've got some finished objects. There's going to be some pictures of because Kristin did not want to bring her giant blanket of cabled awesomeness away.
So, finished objects. The first finished object is the monster blanket.
Oh, look, I'm falling off the screen again.
At this point, you'll be seeing pictures of, I'll be putting 2 pictures up. One will be of my husband and the monster blanket. And one will be of the monster blanket spread out on my bed. So you can see how big it actually is. It turned out to be 11 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
I did not plan on making a weighted blanket, but it has turned into a weighted blanket. And I made it out of Cascade Pacific Bulky, and I have no idea how many skeins because it was made in sections and the yarn was bought in sections. And at the time, I was not making videos, so I wasn't keeping track of anything. But basically, it was Moguls by Trisha Mittberg, and I made the pattern twice, and I sewed it up the middle. And it is done, and I never, ever, 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 ever want to make another one. I made it first, and then my husband's like, not wide enough, you need to make another one. I don't want to. I don't care. You can make another. I mean, you know.
That's odd.
He asked nicely. It's all right. So I made another one, but it just took a very long time because I was using size 17 needles. And like I was talking with a friend who's working on a blanket right now and big needles. And those just work your shoulders more than the small ones. And it just gets tiring.
You gotta like hold on to them like a bicycle. Like
it is. So I'm just glad that it's over and it's out of my whip pile. So it's exciting for me. One of my goals is to whittle down my whip pile, which I'm in the midst of doing. And then someone had a baby, so we had to make a baby gift. So the next thing you will see is a picture of the I think I said that right. It's German. I don't know how to say this. Knubbelchen. And the name of the designer is not given, just her Ravelry handle, which is Pezzy888. Oh. And I looked in Ravelry, and I looked on the written pattern, and I looked everywhere, and all I could find was Pezzy, Pezi 8888. So whoever that is, thank you. I made it out of Regia sock yarn, and it's a cotton sock yarn, and the color was Tutti Frutti, and it was self-striping. So I think that it turned out pretty well. It was for a little girl child.
Sorry, the dog is pecking me. Yep. It was very cold.
So I had to give that away. So that's why I don't have it to show it. But you saw the picture of it. So we got that done. And then we finished the whip of the top-down mini Dachshund.
And she's like, what? What's happening? What's happening?
Dog sweater. And there she is. There she is. And if you can notice, I'm going to hold her up just a little bit. It does come down to rump, which was my concern. And it does cover most of her belly, which was a concern. And I made it just to the pattern. I did not adjust it. And it has a little collar up here that you can turn down. She is not a fan of it. But I think that's because this is made out of Rowan felted tweed. It's kind of scratchy. She has a bit of, and I don't know the correct terminology in doggy land, but we would call it alopecia for humans, where she's kind of losing some of her hair. So she has a lot of bare skin. And I think it's a little scratchy for her. So I think if I make this again, which I probably will, I'll pick an acrylic as something that's softer for her. But I got that done. So I have 3 finished objects.
Woohoo!
So we're getting the whips down. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about that. What are you finished?
Oh, wow, you guys. One of the ladies I work with had a very bad week, as most of Charlotte did, and her pipes under her house froze. Ooh. And to cheer her up, I made her a hat. She was without water for like a week and a half.
Oh, my word.
Crazy. So I let her choose the pom-pom yesterday. This is what she chose. I love these pom-poms.
They're very pretty.
And here's her hat.
Hold it closer. Get it close so people can see.
So you can see there's kind of some... Here, we'll put the pom-pom there. You can see there's some cables. This is a really fun knit. I love hats. I don't knit them.
And the name of the pattern?
Lake Reed. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I highly recommend it. I put who wrote it.
Let's see. Asita Krebs.
There we go. Asita Krebs. But you knit ribbing for 4 inches, so you have a brim, and
I like those the best.
I do, because she can make the brim high, or if your ears are
really
cold, you can fold it down. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It worked out really great. I was a little scared I wasn't going to have enough yarn, but I did have enough for that. And I made a pom-pom to match that she opted for another one. So this will be done, and you guys will never see it again because it's going to go on her head. But yeah, this yarn is Madeline-Tosh Thunderstorm. So it's so soft. I love it. So yeah, I was pretty excited. I finished that hat in a normal amount of knitting time. I was motivated to do it. Yes. And then,
because we're still in accounting season, so
yes, this was my stress reliever. And then you guys.
Dun 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 dun.
It's a regular size sweater. Woo-hoo! So the original pattern stopped here. I added all of that. I knitted till I ran out of yarn, of the pink yarn that Kristin gave me. This was a present. So now it is in a beautiful sweater. I tried it on. I literally just took this off the blocking mat like minutes before I baked brownies for us to eat while we were podcasting.
Very good.
And it fits me perfectly. This comes down to my belly button, which is an appropriate length, not halfway across my nipples. So yes, it fits amazingly. I am going to reblock the sleeves because, as you guys can see, it's a little pointy right there. So I just need to wet that and let it not be pointy. But yeah, it fits great. It's gonna look amazing with my maxi dress that I'm probably gonna wear this week. So
I think that looks fantastic.
Unless it takes
you did a great job.
Degrees. Thank you. Look at my color work. It's so pretty on the inside.
Woo!
So
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
All the ends I gotta weave in.
She may have an end or two to weave in.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's not so bad. But yeah, you can see where it stopped. So yeah, I'm very happy with this, and mostly I'm glad that it's done and not a tube top. So that was a big improvement, because even I was like, maybe saying that was okay was a stretch, but now it looks great. So
it does. It does. It looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So Kristin and I were talking about my motivation, because I just finished 2 projects and now I'm like, so I don't know what I'm gonna knit next.
Well, she's still in the middle of accounting season, and so a lot of her energy and attention is going to
I was asleep.
Getting to the end of...
Yes, I was asleep last night by 9 o'clock. Just so you know. Put my head down and was like...
and sometimes you just have to put things down and pick something else up, and that's okay.
Yeah. I have a couple of things on my queue. I have a couple of kits that I bought to, like... forever ago to knit like shawls and stuff, so maybe I'll dive into that so I don't have to use my brain power to color coordinate.
Oh yeah.
Because so I think that's it. I have like
that's
quite
nice.
a few things on my queue, and I have a couple of sets put together already, so who knows what.
Find something that inspires you, that you go, oh, I want to do that, not like, oh, it's all right, I liked it at one time, I guess I'll make it.
Yeah.
Do something that, sparks the fire.
I think I have 7,000 projects on my knitting queue, so maybe I'll just go through Ravelry. I've been trying to knit off the first 10 because I have yarn for everything. But yeah, now that I can buy yarn, if there's something that I see that I'm like, ooh. So, hi.
Princess is refusing not to be on my lap.
That's okay.
So I have one whip. I've been trying to go through my whips.
Here's a hint. It's these colors.
So the last time I showed it was episode 13, I think.
Oh, yes, it was.
I think I showed it, I'm trying to see. Oh, nope, it was a whip on episode 12, on our first one since we've been back. And I haven't shown it since. But this is the Killarone Shawl by Erin Clayton. And here we go. Oh, she's going to help me show it.
It's gotten...
And where the stitch marker is where I was the last time you saw it. So I have gotten quite a bit done on it. It's going to be a crescent shawl. So I put it on extra...
oh, yeah. Sorry, Kristin.
It's fine.
Woo! Woo!
I put it on extra cable so you can see. Otherwise, it was all scrunched up. But we're going to get it close so you can kind of see. So it's kind of an orange with pinky in it. And there's lace panels and stockinette panels.
So pretty.
Yeah. So it's like a 3.5 repeat pattern repeat, and I'm on the last repeat, so I'm on the half repeat. So I have to determine. I've ended up with a bunch more yarn than what I expected. So I was talking with Amy and I said, I'm going to get to where the pattern tells me to stop, and then I'm going to kind of see the size that it is and how big it is and how much yarn I have left over, and I might just go and do 4.5 repeats instead of 3.5 repeats, depending on what I think. But, like with every project, you love doing it, but you're also really happy when it's over with.
Done. Yeah.
And so I kind of have to think, well, do I want to keep going and use up more yarn and have less yarn left over? Or do I just want to quit and start something else? And that's, what you kind of always have to pick at that point in time.
It's also really hard on shawls, especially with lace shawls, to know if you're going to have enough yarn if you do anything, because not only are you getting longer, but you're getting wider.
Yeah.
So even if you think you're going to have enough at the current, even if you were to track how many yards you use in a repeat, that's not even going to be close to how many yards you're doing in the next repeat. So,
but the first skein, I thought I was going to run out by what the yardage of my yarn said and by what the pattern said. I've done all but 2 rows that you just saw with one skein, and that's over 3 repeats. Wow. And all I have is a half a repeat, and I've got a whole nother skein. So I've got a ton of yarn left over, and I don't know how that all worked out. It is what it is. So that's part of it, is I've got all this yarn left over. So either, you're going to end up with a lot of yarn left over in a smaller shawl, or keep knitting. So we'll see. I've got 2 other whips that I'm going to try to go back to what I used to do years ago, which is only have a couple on the needles. Have an easy one, have a hard one, and I want to try to work through my whips. The next whip is going to be a hat, but it's an Antarja hat. It shouldn't take too long, but I want to get that out. And then I have a gorgeous lace stole, which would take me forever. But I have the yarn and I have everything, and I think it's gorgeous. And so I think I want to try to get that one going eventually, even though I'll have something else going. So I'm going to try to stick with just 2 patterns, 2 projects at a time instead of trying to do 27.
Yeah. I've been trying to do like one at a time. I think that's working really well for me. Like I used to be all over and have like a ton of projects. The only projects that I have like in my whips, kind of in a deep dark corner, are my cowl that I'm knitting that has all the sock yarn to it. But I'm going to be knitting that till I'm like 90. And
Halloween sweater.
Yep, I got my Halloween sweater. I forgot about that. That still needs arms. I'm kind of thinking about ripping it out and doing brighter colors because now I can buy yarn. So, I don't know. That's why I haven't. I feel like that's truly why I haven't done it, is I want bright orange. So we're going to see. We're going to see. I've also lost like a ton of weight, you guys. So, it may be way too big. All the more reason to rip it out and buy that bright orange. We're going to see. We're going to see. But I will have a Halloween sweater this year. That is for sure. And then I have my Vertices United that got stuck in a deep, dark corner, whatever, and I really need to pick it up because that was pretty fun to knit. So yeah. Yeah, that's where I am. That's where I am.
So it's going to be interesting to see where we're at next time. We're giving ourselves a month till we record again. Amy needs to get on the other side of accounting whole of January.
Yes. I wish I'd brought out my planner to show Kristin my week, because there were no lines left.
I'm glad you didn't.
It's terrifying to look at. And then I checked my email before Kristin came over. It's like, let's see what's going on in the email. I apparently did not read or do any emails last week. Or not last week, but yesterday. And so there's 80-something emails in there to do. So yeah, accounting, it's big fun if you're ever good. I mean, that sarcastically, I do love my job, but that month.
We all have waves in our lifetime, and I think that it's, important to, live where we're at. So guess what? Yeah. I'm going to be knitting orange, which I'm really excited
about. Oh my God, yes. I might be knitting orange too. Maybe. A sock would be therapeutic, but I also have that cowl is gorgeous, and I really want to. I keep adding yarn to it, and I'm like, maybe I don't need to add this yarn to it. Here's the legit problem, okay, you guys, with this cowl. I have size 6 feet. They're tiny, so a skein of yarn. I need half of a skein for a pair of socks, a decent size sock, right? That leaves me with the other half of the skein. Now, I've been putting that half of a skein to this cowl, but then Kristin brought in this Nightshift, and now I'm thinking I could put those half of skeins.
Oh, that would be perfect for that.
Into this, and then I get the self-striping, and I'm not using a whole, I could throw 10 colors into that. So
I think that would be perfect for your other half of the skeins.
This might be a thing, because I've bought 2 things of yarn to make this and have not done it yet. So now I have 3 project options for that. So, but Kristin has warned me she would knit it, but it's like linen stitch in there or something, right? Is that the stitch?
No, it's slip.
Oh, okay. Oh, slip stitch, yeah.
It's just slip stitch. It's easy peasy.
Yeah.
It is not a hard pattern.
So,
but I think that, yes, the self-striping sock yarn, this would be fun. This would be fun.
Too. And then I can just throw, whatever. So that is an option.
Yeah.
I'm really thinking hard about it too. It's like in my mind now. So maybe next
finding
time
motivation.
What
is it that tweaks you?
Yeah.
What is it that makes you happy?
Fun makes me happy.
Yes.
So yeah, we have a month. I can knit this in a month. Well, I'd say that. I can probably not this month.
Not this month.
I got a hat done and a sweater, and I feel like I've accomplished some things in January.
There you go.
So, yeah.
So we've got a lot of stuff done. We promised FOs in our last episode. We have FOs.
We did it!
We're feeling very self-satisfied.
Yay! So happy. Y'all, I'm so happy. I did 2 sweaters like in December and January. I'm so happy. Maybe for February I'll do my sleeves or my Halloween.
I think so.
I'm really happy with this.
So we've got a month until the next one. It's been great seeing you. I hope that you have enjoyed our video.
Yep. Don't forget to like and subscribe there at the bottom. And tell us how to pronounce Chigu.
Because we obviously have absolutely
no idea. No idea.
None whatsoever.
So.
We look forward to seeing you again. We'll have a lot more shenanigans. Amy will be on the other side of the accounting hole that January tends to be. I hopefully will. My work is slow right now, so hopefully I'm going to get a lot of stuff done. That's what I'm hoping for. I am now teaching some people how to knit. So that's a whole nother adventure. Stab it, strangle it, pull out the guts, throw it off the cliff. I have said that a million times. It's wonderful. And these are adults. So having a good time.
I had a hard time learning to knit, but now I'm like a monster. So
yep,
it was not I didn't have a natural talent for it. So.
New adventures for everybody. And Miss Princess.
She's like, what? I was getting love.
Say yes. Little Miss Princess is going to be as spoiled. And if I make you another one of these, I'll try to make it less itchy, honey. I'm sorry. Picked out the bad yarn.
It's beautiful colors, though.
She's looking at the brownies.
They're really yummy.
Have a good one. We look forward to seeing you again. Leave us comments. Tell us what you like, what you didn't like. Tell us what you'd like to see us knit. Would you like to have a knit along at some point? That might be fun. There's lots of options out there, and this is our playground, so we're going to make the rules. So help us make the rules of what you want to see.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.